Welcome to Interviews with Daddy and
Aiden!
Here's the rundown. On this show, Aiden, who is 4, and me, a father of 2 and a former CIA operations officer,
We'll interview the coolest people
and the most interesting professionals, and we will together see the world through the lens of a child's endless mind. Whether you're a kid or a parent, let's motivate young people and show them anything is possible. You ready to get started?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Okay.
Kick off.
Kick off. Yeah, good job, bud. We're going to kick it off. All right, so today on the Interviews with Daddy and Aiden podcast, we are talking to the awesome Rudy Bojorquez. He's a SWAT team officer, a father, a husband, and a businessman. Rudy's been on his SWAT team for 16 years, and he currently serves as his union's vice president, a treasurer of another association, and a legal defense trustee. He's a husband and father of 3, and in his spare time, he loves spending time with his family and woodworking. He owns his own woodworking business out of his home called the Thin Line Flags, LLC. Welcome to the show, Rudy. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Aiden. I'm doing well today. How are you guys doing?
Great.
We're doing really well. We're excited to be here, excited to be talking to you. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
So, Rudy, do you mind, just to start us off, do you mind just telling us what a SWAT team officer is?
Sure. The SWAT, let me start by talking about what SWAT actually stands for. It stands for Special Weapons and Tactics. So what does that mean? It means that you regularly see a patrol officer that answers the radio, and they're able to solve your problem immediately. But sometimes they don't have the tools, they don't have the training to handle a situation that would be longer, that would take a lot more training to do. So the patrol officers say, this is a little bit beyond my training. So let me call someone with like an armored vehicle, with armored equipment, better protected equipment. And so that's what it means, special weapons and tactics. Armored vehicles, extra equipment.
Special weapons in what?
Good. Ask him.
Special weapons in what?
Tactics.
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 Tactics
That
means go ahead.
Moving better. I'm hiding behind protective piece, a rock, a tree, a wall. I get better at hiding, or hiding myself so that I don't get hurt or my friends don't get hurt. So that's what really SWAT stands for.
Do they just come along or be your friend or just come along or walk around and just help you?
So you want to know how the canines help us do our job?
Canines.
Right?
Canines. That's one of your teeth.
That is one of your teeth. Yeah, but that's also what the dogs are called. The canines.
Canines are one of your teeth.
You're right.
That's right. Yes. But they're also what we call the dogs, canines. And
Why?
That's actually their name, canine.
What?
That's the name of the dog. But now he's going to answer your question.
So the canines help us because they are able to smell a lot better than us. So they could smell bad guys from far away. And we use them to search for bad guys when bad guys are hiding from us.
They can smell things better than you, and they can help find them.
They can smell 7 times better than us. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Way cool.
That is way cool.
I have a dog, so I can get my dog Lego dog, and I can. But I can't. I'm sorry.
But that's cool because the dogs can go and they help them. So are the dogs kind of like your partners? Do they help you out on a daily basis?
So I'm part of our SWAT team. We also have a unit of canine team. So whenever we need them, we call the canine handler and his dog to come out and help us. And because we train together so much, we're able to communicate better. And we can incorporate them, or we could use them within our team to help find bad guys.
But if you want, you can pick them up and throw them over a fence to get the bad guy.
You could.
That's true.
To bite the bad guy to get it.
Yeah, I bet they do that.
Right.
I want it to be like this.
We actually train to be able to lift them up, put them over walls, in attics, in cars. Yes, we actually train to put them on stuff so that they can. Sometimes they can't jump that high, so we train to carry them over things.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
Maybe you can throw them.
Well,
But
that's pretty
they-
dangerous because we have to be able to see where we're putting them, but throwing them could hurt them. So they won't be able to help us if they're hurt.
But what if we did put a little thing? One of you, do you have any medical things? No? Oh, no.
I
Yeah,
do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Say what? What?
What?
Oh, so like some things that could help save my life. I'll show you some.
Huh.
So here's one. It's called a tourniquet. So I know it's kind of blurry, but
Which
here's
is
one.
not bluey at all.
Okay.
What
And
is
what that
it?
does,
What
He's
is,
what
gonna,
that
he's gonna
does-
tell you.
what is a tourniquet?
He's gonna tell you.
a tourniquet is something that we can tie around one of our arms or legs to stop us from bleeding, so that we can save our own life. Or
How
somebody-
many of those do you have?
Oh, let me see. I have one. I have two on me right now, and on my vest. Whenever I go on a call, I have two more. So I typically carry 2 to 4 of these because I have 2 arms and 2 legs. So I want to make sure I can stop the bleeding.
And you know what he does with it, bud? So if he's bleeding somewhere on one of his arms or his legs, he can put on the tourniquet and he twists it really, really, really hard so that it actually stops the bleeding. It's called Stop the Bleed.
Yeah.
This was one of your questions. How do they become a SWAT team member? Do you want to ask that to him?
I want to know, what do we do in really serious danger mission?
Okay, that was another one of your questions.
Yeah, it was.
Great.
Okay. Serious danger missions. Well, there are some serious danger missions, but I think we train so much on every situation that most of us have the idea in our minds. We just have to find a solution. And we don't really worry about how dangerous it is. Because with us, we're the last persons of defense. If we don't stop it, then we feel like there's too much of a danger to the public or to you guys. So we just are willing to sacrifice everything.
Okay, let him be.
I have an emergency backpacks that have hand warmers and
But do you hear what he's saying? I know you have your emergency backpack, but he's saying something so important. He helps people. They do these emergency things and these dangerous missions so that people like us can be safe, so that we can live our lives in a safe way, right? Yeah, but let's let him keep saying it.
Yeah, so we're the last line of defense, and we train so much, we train so hard, and we come up with ways to
Wait.
each other's ideas, so that way we get better. And we don't really look how dangerous the situation is. I think we know that it's dangerous, and we want the public to have trust in us that we're going to come defend them and keep them safe.
Could you tell us a little bit about the training that you go through?
Sure. So the first thing that we have to go through is a physical agility test. And what does that mean? It's like a PE test of physical fitness. Can you do push-ups? Can you do pull-ups? Can you run? Are you qualified enough to stay on the team? And then some of the things that you go through is the constant training. So our SWAT school is 2 weeks of training, of moving with all your gear.
And remember, so he has to sometimes wear gear that's like 80 pounds. How much do you weigh?
a little more.
A little more? No, you don't weigh more than 80 pounds. How much do you weigh, mister?
80 pounds.
No, you weigh
I don't know.
40 pounds.
40.
So you weigh half of that amount. So that means that he's carrying basically half. He's carrying 2 of you when he's doing all of this stuff.
He's carrying
2 of you when he's going up in to do these different missions. So they've got to be in really good shape, right?
Oh, but I'm in good shape, am I?
You are.
Yeah,
I do workouts.
Oh yeah. So
I
yeah, we
lift
have to
up
work out
10.
too.
I lift up 10-pound weights.
You do lift up 10-pound weights. Yeah. Actually, I bet you could ask him about the workouts that he does to train.
What workout do you do to train?
So I do a lot of weightlifting. I do a lot of calisthenics to keep my body in shape, to make sure that I can do what I need to do.
If you knew when you were 4 years old that you wanted to become a SWAT team officer and you had your whole career, your whole life ahead of you, what do you think you would tell the 4-year-old version of yourself about being a SWAT team officer or how to get on that path?
So, number one is read, because reading a lot makes you a better writer. And a lot of people don't understand this, but a good police officer is a good writer. And then, yeah, reading makes you a better writer. And police officers have to be a good writer to be a police officer. And number three, keep working out. Because
You need to write on the tickets.
You do need to write on the tickets, exactly.
That's right. But we also have to write a lot of reports, and people have to be able to understand them. So all that comes from schooling.
What reports?
Ask him, what reports?
What reports?
So when we arrest somebody, we have to write a report when we arrest them. And then once you become a police officer, about listening to the rules, being very, having a good work ethic, confidence, being a good leader, a good friend, a good teammate. So that all together puts forth somebody who could, be in my position.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So
I can do everything.
you can do all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You think you could?
Mm-hmm.
So we do a lot of workouts. We do a lot of reading, right? Reading is important.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say about report writing? Why do they have to write good reports? Do you remember what he said?
Well, I don't know.
Because when they do something, like if they are arresting someone or if there was an incident, maybe it was called an incident report, they would have to write down all of the stuff that happened. They would have to say, this is where we went. We had to go into a door. We had to open up a room. We had to clear a room. Whatever it was that they're doing, they've got to write it down so that there's a good report of what it was that they had to do. That make sense?
Why? How much paper do you have?
How much paper do you have?
Millions.
Millions?
Yeah, millions.
So sometimes I've heard in a lot of police type jobs that there's a lot of report writing, a lot of paperwork that you have to do. Is that a big part of what a SWAT team officer has to do as well?
Well, a SWAT team officer, I would say, has to be very descriptive, because anytime we use force, and we have to use force, we have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of justifying of why we chose certain levels of force over others. You have to justify, why did you do that? Why did you do this? And we have to be able to justify them to people who just don't understand why we're doing them and what we're doing. And that's not far off having to explain.
Is he talking to me?
He's talking about you, yeah.
Right. We have to really explain it in a basic way to be understandable to everyone.
Got it. You know what the word confidence means?
Say like brave.
Brave, like to be sure about what you can do, to know the stuff that's the right thing to do, and also to feel good about you, to feel good about the way that you do things. What do you think about confidence?
I'm confident.
You're confident? I think you are. I think doing stuff like this and getting you in front of people, I think that helps
He's
with you.
very inquisitive, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of questions. That was what really kind of inspired this whole thing. So Aiden, so we talked about the dogs. We talked about the SWAT team member. One question that I was thinking about too is we live in this world where sometimes there's a lot of technology around us, right? We use a lot of technology. What do you have that sometimes you use your remote control for that flies in the air?
Drone.
I wonder if they ever use something like that. You want to ask them about that?
Do you have any drones?
Yes, we have a full team of drones. We have people who operate the drones.
Team of drones?
Team of drones.
Yeah, we have a team of drone officers, and we have a team of drones. I think we have 6 drones now, looking for more. They're very helpful. And I'll tell you what they're helpful
Does
for.
one have a bullet shield?
A bullet shield? Well, he's going to say what they're helpful for. So let's hear, what are the drones helpful for?
The whole drones are helpful for searches in a large area, and also searches inside a building when we don't have to enter. And what does that mean? It means it keeps us safe, and we could see what's inside the building before we get into the building, which makes it safer for us.
I want to keep myself safe. I want to be responsible for myself.
That's great.
Right. That's what we want. So we'll keep the officers outside and then send the drone inside.
Talk about. Well, what is it called when a firefighter or a police officer has to wear some special gear to keep them safe? What is that?
PPE.
PPE. Great. PPE. You want to ask him about his PPE?
What is your PPE? Yeah.
So PPE is personal protective equipment.
I
and
know
we
it.
have
I
yes,
know that.
yeah, awesome. I'm glad you know this. Wow, Dad's done a good job.
Yeah.
Uh, so some of the things that I have are this vest is one PPE. I have another vest. I have a helmet. I have let's see, what else do I have? I have protective guards on my shins, on my arms. So I have different PPE for different situations.
I have boots.
Ask him.
Boots.
Do you have boots?
Yeah. I have boots. Yeah.
If you try with the scissors to cut it, it won't cut.
That's good. That's good. Sometimes there's boots that are called steel toe boots, like really strong boots that are nice and protective. I bet he has some good, nice protective
Do I
boots.
have steel toe boots?
I do have steel toe boots, yeah.
Do I?
Do you? You have cool rain boots?
No, my fire boots.
You have fire boots also, yeah.
Did you know I know how to do CPR?
You do know how to do some.
Oh, really? Awesome. Yeah. So that's what we need the fire guys for. And two, if we ever put out a fire, let's say I work in an airport, so a lot of the fires that we would have to work on would be airplane fires. So we would call out the
Fire airplane.
Right. We would call out the firemen.
No, the fire airplane.
Oh, the fire airplane?
Yeah.
That's one that puts out like big forest fires. So that is another good thing. But there's also fire vehicles that they have at the airport to put out airplane fires.
And we also have.
What are they? Are they little jets?
Are they little jets? The big ones that put out the forest fires. But the ones that he's talking about are the ones that they have at the actual airport.
Oh, like the airport fire trucks?
Exactly.
Oh.
Like the green ones.
Oh, yeah, I know about them.
Yes, the green
Although
ones.
my favorite fire truck, they have more cool things. They have like a binocular on the top. I saw one with that.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yes, there's actually firemen assigned at the airport because their skill is in stopping fires on airplanes. And we would help them make sure that they have an easy way to stop the fire on an airplane.
I was thinking that we could switch gears a little bit, and I was wondering, when we first connected, you told me one of the coolest things that you mentioned was that you do a lot of woodworking, that you kind of created your own business in addition to doing what you...
Excuse me, did you know that I made a cool American flag at school, my school? A really cool, yeah.
You did when we were talking about it. So with that in mind, so I was telling Aiden about the fact that you and your family, you guys create some really cool woodworking, and I showed him some pictures of what it was that you do, and he told me about the American flag that he made at school. So the question to you is, do you mind just letting me know or talking about how you got into that and how the creation of that with your family kind of turned into a business that you all do?
Right. So let's see if I can make it short and simple. But I really appreciate this country. I really have a lot of love and pride for this country, and our flag, I think, is a really beautiful design. So on Memorial Day weekend back in 2017, I decided to make one out of wood with my son for Memorial Day weekend as a fun project.
Very cool.
And after we were done and completed it, it allowed my son to work with some tools that he never done before. I'm his father. I wanted to show him how to work with tools and not be afraid. And when I was finished, I took pictures. And when I got back to work, when friends asked, "Hey, what did you do this weekend?" When I showed them pictures, I started getting requests for, "Oh, I want one." So I made my friend one, brought it to work, and when guys at work saw it, they loved it and said, "I want one." And I started getting more and more requests because of word of mouth.
So it's really cool because you saw the flag and you knew that you wanted to do something, you wanted to build something together on Memorial Day. So to think about the people who served, and you wanted to kind of create something yourself, and you wanted to do that with family, and then you turned it into something that could, it's like is it like a bonding thing that you do that also is a business as well?
Yes, it's a bonding thing. Like I said, I made it with my son. Even my daughter's got involved in helping me make some flags. My youngest son asked questions.
So, Rudy, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. It really is. We so appreciate your time. It's so cool to get to hear some of your stories. The biggest things that I took away from it are that when you're thinking about the job that you're going to take on, it's important to be good at reading and to focus on that.
I want to hear Rudy talking.
You don't want to hear me talking? You want to hear Rudy talking?
Yeah.
I want to hear Rudy talking too. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask him?
No.
Okay. So, Rudy, it has been amazing to have you here. It really is. It's such a cool pleasure, a treat for us to get to talk to someone who has served for 16 years in their capacity. So the biggest takeaways that I got from this is that you have to really focus on a lot of things that you wouldn't even expect, like your training, like your reading, being in good shape, being motivated, being determined. That's some of the stuff that I heard from you. So thinking about how we can really
Determined.
yeah, how you can be focused and determined. That's all.
Washing.
No, so that's all really important stuff. And so, Aiden, let's take a minute to, can you say thank you to Rudy?
Thank you, Rudy.
You're welcome, Aiden.
Thanks for listening, and remember, let's inspire our children each and every day. To help spread the word, please subscribe, review, and share this podcast with other parents
And other kids.
Very good.